Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday to you. I hope you're having the best day of your life. I know it's an exciting times, not only for our country, but for our industry as we start to see things unfold um, overseas and things start to ease all the concerns within the markets. We're going to start seeing these interest rates start to lower because the inflation is going to start lowering. A lot of things are going to start to fall in place for this upcoming buying season that we are just now entering. So it's got me super excited. Um, Today, our segment is always creating more opportunities. My name is Bill Haga. I'm a executive loan officer with Rocket Mortgage Local. I always stress local because my local pricing is always a good 1% to 1.25% better than our call center in Detroit, Michigan. So stop letting your clients fill out their online application, have them contact me directly or fill out my loan application so we can ensure that they get the best pricing and best deal that's out there available for them. So today I have a special guest in the house, Miranda Baldwin. She's a broker with Advantage Real Estate in Baldwin County, Alabama. Hello, Miranda. How are you?
Hey, Bill, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. I hope it's a beautiful day down there. It's Friday, so I'm assuming that the roads are packed. People are all over the place.
Absolutely. We have the Sand in Our Boots event this weekend down at Hangout. So it's been rather crowded and crazy all week.
Nice. If you guys aren't aware of this area, you got to check it out, at least on a map. So you see 59 coming all the way down to the beach, and then
Hmm.
it splits, right? So the
Yep.
hangout is right there.
Yep.
So when you have all the, I guess, the vacationers, the um, all the students coming in from college, right, at spring
Yep.
break, that place gets just crazy fun.
It does.
Crazy
It
fun.
does.
Live music. I mean, it is a great place to be and hang out and enjoy the beach atmosphere and all the beautiful sights.
Absolutely.
So today I want to talk to Miranda a little bit. So Miranda and I have been doing business for about 7 years, from what I calculated. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's about accurate.
So it was a event that the company that I was actually working for at that moment. It was my idea to put on host this event, and Miranda came to the event, and I just kind of walked up to her like I do most, introduced myself, and just started talking to her. And as we started talking and got to know each other a little better, obviously we did our first deal together, and that was pretty smooth. I say smooth, but I'm sure it was a first time home buyer and had all the hair on it that most of them do. But the best thing about it was, and this is what I wanted to talk about a little bit today, is how communication allows us to get through the scenario of what's taking place, and we're still smiling at the end of every day, right? We don't have
Absolutely.
to we don't need to point fingers. We don't, right? I mean, it's just whatever the problem is, just have an open mind. And when these things come up, we just have to resolve them. That's it. And
Hmm.
I think that we do a great job of that. I mean, we've helped a ton of clients, ton of friends, family,
Yep.
right? So I just wanted to personally thank you for your friendship. I appreciate you and everything that you do and we do together. And I'm looking forward to our event tomorrow. We'll get into that a little
Yes.
bit here later. So we'll discuss that. But today, in the moment, I want to talk about the closing that we have coming up. Okay.
Yes.
So this section is really us talking to other real estate agents. Okay. Tomorrow, we'll talk about first time home buyer stuff, some exciting new programs that Rocket's bringing to town. Oh
Yes.
my. God, I am thrilled to death. I couldn't even go to bed last night. I was so stinking excited. My wife's like, "Are you coming to bed, honey?" I'm like, "No, I can't. I'm sorry.
No,
Give me a kiss. I'm
yeah,
I am
my
wound
brain's
up."
still running.
Yeah, it was crazy. So when she woke up this morning, she was like, "I'm glad you're able to sleep a little bit."
Yep,
Because that's it. I mean, there's a list. The list is like this big,
it's
right?
amazing.
So when I left the last company I was with, I had like 3.5 million in my pipe.
Hmm.
That's pretty decent. So I haven't been able to get to that point since then. And the reason is because I'm missing these programs,
Right.
right? So I've been the broker that had everything before. So it didn't matter how thick the hair of it was on it, send it to me, I got it. And
Yep.
9 out of 10 times I could close them. When I came here, a lot of that changed. I had to send a lot of business to friends that are colleagues that are still in the business that I trust because I couldn't write those loans any longer. But I am excited to tell you that that is going to be changing really, really soon.
Me too.
So awesome stuff. Awesome stuff coming down the pipe. So let's talk about Zach. We've been working with Zach for about, I don't know, I guess about a month, right?
Yeah,
He
about a month, month
started,
and a half.
because he started and then he kind of fell off
Mhm.
and then he, I think you got his interest again.
Yep.
But I'll go ahead and let you pick up since it's a little closer to home to you than what it is to me. Go ahead, let's
Um,
talk about Zach.
I've known Zach, oh my gosh, since he was 9. He's early 20s now. And it's really it's kind of funny because my girls have been ingrained in his family for quite some time. He has 2 sisters, and his middle sister is actually my oldest daughter's best friend and has been since high school. And so him and my youngest daughter have always been friends. And now they're kind of together as a couple. So now they've decided, that they're going to buy a house or whatever. And here we are. We're under contract and we close next week.
Awesome. And most of us in these situations, because I mean, family can be tough. Family
It
can
is
be the
tough.
toughest. They're the hardest critics. They
Yep.
they probably appreciate less than most.
Yep.
So it's all these, emotions that I always kind of throw out the window when we're in these moments,
Yes.
because this is where you really need to be a boss. You really need to be a professional
Yes.
and just handle your business, right? Because that's really what it's about. But at the end of the day, I call you the negotiating queen for a reason, right? So I want you to explain, because this thing had a lot of hair on it, believe it or not.
It
Nice
did.
house, right? A beautiful opportunity for him and his soon to be family. And I'll let you, if you want to chime that. But at the end of the day, there was a lot going on. I mean, to the point where you're even sending me text messages. Hey, can we do this? Can we do that? But I'll let you go ahead and get into it.
We actually went and looked at the house. They actually loved the property. The area was exactly where he wanted to be. He was very specific and, his budget and what he wanted to spend. And the house had been on the market for a little while and it was out of his price point at that time. And there were some things that happened with the seller and the property became closer to his price point that he was comfortable with. So we went and took a look at it. They liked it. We made an offer. Of course, he needed some seller concessions for closing costs and prepaids. And we get the home inspection. We already knew that the roof was about 20 years old. So it was almost at the end of its life expectancy. So before we even had the home inspection done, when we actually wrote the offer, asking for the seller to give seller concessions and also put a new roof on the house. This is why Bill calls me the negotiating queen.
That's step one.
So
Did
that's
everyone
step
catch
one.
that? That was step
Yeah,
one. She's
yeah, that
already
was step
asking
one.
for stuff.
Right. I'm already asking for stuff straight out of the bucket. But and I'm like, well, they might. The listing agent had, shared a few things and I was like, they might be open to that negotiation and that's discussion. But worst thing that can happen is they say no. We'll try. Let's see if we can't. If they say no, let's see if we can't find a place that we can meet in the middle. So at the end of the day, everybody walks away from the table feeling good, and it's a win-win, and it benefits both sides. Um, Even though my fiduciary responsibility has nothing to do with the selling side, because I'm representing the buyer, I still have to think about those side of the things.
Yes.
So Zach agreed. We made the offer. Seller accepted it. We get the home inspection back. There's some things on the home inspection that, Zach is adamant that he wants fixed. Okay, cool. No problem. We'll negotiate it out. So I negotiate out the repairs that he wanted. Um, Seller agrees to make those repairs. And a couple of weeks later, the seller comes back and says, hey, if we do this repair and this repair, can we just give additional seller concession for these other two repairs? So I ended up calling Zach, and he was like, yeah, if they'll give, more seller concession, I'm okay with that. So we ended up getting more seller concession. Luckily, we were not at the top of his allowed seller concession amount, so that was able to work out.
Correct. Hang on 1 second. Let me chime in. So
Go ahead.
on a conventional loan, a seller can actually give up to 3%. On an FHA, they can give up to 6%. Okay, so big difference. Okay, I
Yes.
just had a situation where a customer was approved FHA, but buying a condo that wasn't FHA approved. So those things cause issues. Go ahead.
Yep. So we got everything situated. They agreed to do the roof. Our goal was to have the roof done prior to close. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out. The seller is actually holding proceeds, essentially, and the roof will be done right after closing. It will be a fortified roof, which gets him an insurance deduction, which means his payment is going to be lower.
Yes.
So, and everything's great and wonderful.
Yeah. And you
Knock
did
on
all
wood,
that. No,
we're good.
seriously, you teed that up. You did everything that you possibly could for him.
Mhm.
And I mean, once again, you're even preparing everything to be set up so when it is done, his insurance is going to drop about what, $100 a month or something.
Yeah, it's going to drop about 120 bucks a month.
Yeah, I mean that's huge. All because of your negotiating skills, being able to see from beginning to end, and
Mhm.
being able to play both sides as you're going through the process is I don't know. It's like a finely tuned orchestra playing,
It is,
as it
and this
all
is
unfolds.
this is actually the third transaction that I have been able to negotiate a brand new roof on the house.
Yeah, amazing. So, one thing that we ran into with this scenario is Rocket doesn't do any escrow holdbacks.
Correct.
So, anything that you think that you can possibly do on a settlement, it's a no. It's just a no,
Mhm.
right? So that has to be handled, within what you guys do outside of us. And the biggest heart attack that I had during this file was when we got the contract. Of course, I'm excited, I'm stoked, and I'm looking in it. I'm getting ready to copy all the information. The first thing I'm doing, I'm pulling up rates, see what's going on. Flipping rates jumped up that day, three
Yep.
eighths, 0.375. So now all of a sudden, I just told this young man he's got to bring in X, and now he's got to bring in another 25 to $3,000 more. So another thing about being a boss in this industry is understanding how things work. Okay. So if I would have locked that rate that moment, he would have been out that 3 grand that he wasn't expecting. And when you're working with, I don't care if you're a first time home buyer or who you are, there's always a scenario that can take your money.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you're short funds and you can't come up with them.
Right.
So these are moments that you, as a boss, you got to breathe, right? Can't let them see you sweat, if that's the phrase.
Yep.
But I calmly just explained to him, hey, we're not going to lock today, and this is the reason why.
Mhm.
Explained it to him, showed it to him, Here's the cost difference. Doesn't make sense. The market's up and down. And as you see, everything that's taken place in the middle in the Middle East with
Mhm.
Trump and negotiating all these deals, and I mean, as you watch this unfold, you're going to see the risk get lifted, right? 'Cause right now, it's all this concern and risk. It's how the market's based. It's all risk based.
Right.
So as this pressure comes off and things start falling into place, these deals start getting done. You're going to see our inflation drop. You're going to see unemployment numbers go down, right? Because that's the whole idea, is to bring in employment back, bringing the manufacturing back.
Hmm.
I don't know how that was ever a good idea to get rid of that anyway. But
I
anyways,
don't know.
we're back to being a country that we create things, right? We
Right.
build things. That's what we do. We're entrepreneurs. So
Back to the land of opportunity.
yes, and that just feeds right into our segment, more opportunities, because this is creating the opportunities, or what's going to be happening here in the near future. Because if things were status quo, inflation was a battle. Well,
Yes.
now they're talking about even getting rid of the income tax.
Hmm.
What? And each household may pick up 30,000. What? I mean, all these. So just keep in mind, as all this positive information hits the market, these interest rates should be coming down. And when these
Yes.
interest rates come down, there's going to be tons of opportunity, because people that are in those 4 and 5% are going to now go, okay, huh? We've been wanting to move back and get closer to the kids, or hey, here's an opportunity I can take with my job. I can get a promotion. There's
Yep.
all these things now that are going to open up, because these people are now going to be selling their homes and relocating and doing things. So all that does is just drive more business, more opportunities for us within the business.
Yes.
Right. And that's super exciting. Super exciting. Back to Zach. Let's talk about some final numbers. So as you go through this process, and agents, these numbers change like daily. I mean, I don't have control over this stuff. It's what we do behind the scenes.
Yes.
I don't know if agents know what we truly do, what we're doing behind the scenes, but you know, cartel, money laundering, all these criminal activities are really caught in our industry.
Yes.
So if it takes another day or two to do something, maybe that protects us all from, what this person may be doing or not doing. All right. So let's breathe as we go into this busy season, because right now things have been somewhat, moderate, nothing, you know, exhilarating. But I'm here to tell you, when these rates drop, we're all going to be busy. I mean,
Yes.
it's going to be nonstop probably for, some time. So as we approach these times, I just want to express, be kind to your loan officers. All right. They're doing everything they can, I'm sure. If you feel like that your loan officer isn't stepping up to the plate, call me. I'll step right up to the plate. I don't even need to choke up. I've been swinging the bat long enough. I'm good.
Yep.
Let's just work it and get it together. So on his final numbers, because he was sweating me, I keep explaining to him, Zach, I don't know, bud. It's a process. We'll know when we get to the end. So when we get the estimated, right? So there's the 3-day window that we have to wait. So they have to sign a closing disclosure that has, the wrong information on it. It isn't accurate.
Right. It's an
So then
estimate.
that's all it is. And so when we finally reach the end, and it's the first thing that I go to, is a little section that compares what you were quoted and what you're final at. So I took that picture and I sent it over to him. I said, congratulations. I said, we thought that you were going to have to bring in this, right? I always told you that these are the worst case scenario numbers, right? Because the last thing I want to do is over promise and under deliver.
Yep.
So just believe in the process, believe in me, believe in my numbers. And I'm pretty sure that when we get to the end of this thing, they're going to be better than this. He's like, okay. And I mean, I'm going to hold you to it, Bill. I mean, that was his exact words.
Yeah. I'm gonna
So,
do it.
and
Okay.
And I knew just based off the tone in his voice, he was pretty serious about that. So knowing how our system and how I do my numbers anyway, I knew that we were already going to be there. We ended up with, I don't know, almost like $2,500 less than what he had estimated.
Yep,
He was pretty thrilled about that. Gave me the thumbs up, and so that's his way of expressing that he was happy and thrilled about what was going on. So
absolutely.
one of the things of being a boss is, we got to ask for referrals as we go through these processes, right?
Mhm.
Every client, you got to figure out how many times should I ask for the referrals? When are the opportune times to ask for them? So I always do it all the happy times, right? You just got to
Right.
prove, right?
Yeah.
Appraisal just came in, everything's good,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
you're clear to close. So at all these touch points, and mind you, there's still many other touch points within there because I'm that play-by-play guy. As it happens, I
Right.
got to text it because in 10 minutes I may not know my name.
Right.
But I seem to be able to manage it quite well. So when we were going through that process and knowing that I asked Zach, and Zach came back, he said, "Well, I don't know. What? Why would I do that?" Because he's afraid he doesn't know, right? So
Right.
educating him, I said, "Okay, well, I mean, if you think that Miranda and I did a great job for you, this is just another way for you to say thank you.
Mhm.
You trust in us in order to help your friends and stuff, right? Because the last thing
Right.
that you want to do is have your friend get all caught up in some kind of scandal or, you know, lose out on a house that he should have got or whatever the case may be."
Not get the best service that he could get.
Exactly, right? No one is, no, not everyone has the negotiating skills. Okay,
Right.
I'm here to tell you. So when then I said, it's just another way of thanking us. And then he came back. He said, "Well, do I get anything out of it?" I said, "No, sir. I'm sorry. We can't pay for referrals,
Right.
unfortunately. I mean, I'm still confused, but whatever. It's the rules, and we got to follow them. I think it only adheres to our industry. Everywhere
Right.
else, you could do it. Any other
Yeah.
industry, you could do it, but I guess it's for whatever
It's frowned
reason.
upon in ours.
Yeah, it's illegal for
Yeah.
me saying, "Hey, you know, kick me $20 or something for this referral." But
Right.
anyways, that's how our system's set up. So that's how we obviously have to operate and keep our license in check.
Uh-huh.
So it's just comical as because each first time home buyer is different, right? Everyone has their own perspective on things. I mean,
Yes.
last week I had a first time home buyer that I was, getting pre approved. And she's like, you know, "Bill, should I mean, it's been like 5 hours." She's like, "Shouldn't I be approved already?" She's like, I'm ready to find a house. And it was just comical to me. I started giggling a little bit to myself, and I said, "I can appreciate, that normally, if you're buying anything else, you could probably get approved that quick. But fortunately, when you're buying a house, it's a little different."
Yep.
So all the fun things that we deal with. All
It's
right.
because
So
everybody goes to Uncle Google, and Uncle Google is not always correct in what they tell you.
yes. So like I mentioned earlier, we're talking about programs. All right. Programs for a loan officer is like they're everything. Okay.
Yes.
For a real estate agent, what that does, it allows you to team up with two or three loan officers, be able to know what they do good and what they have. So then when a scenario comes up, it may not fit me as well as it may be the other LO over there, right? There's plenty
Mhm.
of business to go around, plenty, right? But I do ask you to do business with me, all right? Because I know that you got a loan officer already. Everyone does, right?
Right.
Miranda had a loan officer. Everyone has a loan officer. I get it. But is your loan officer doing everything that they need to be doing for your clients? That's what you should be asking yourself. And don't accept anything under a 5-star expectation. I mean, that's the bottom line, right? We're bosses. Last thing
Right.
that I want or Miranda wants is anything that we do or say that affects our business, right?
Absolutely.
That's why we trust each other,
Mhm.
right? Based off of performance, not
Yep.
hearsay, not, "Oh, I heard this." No, facts, things that have actually taken place. So
Yep.
tomorrow we have because tomorrow we're going to be talking programs, because
Yes.
programs is what buyers want to hear about.
Yep.
Okay. Programs is what's going to get them a set of keys at the end of the day. The program is going to give them the down payment assistance that they need in order to get out of the rent trap.
Yep.
So back to Zach right quick. I asked Zach, I said, one of the best things about being a homeowner is this. I sent him a picture of the seller's side. Seller was walking away with $226,000. That's why you buy a stinking house.
Right.
Seriously, bottom line,
Yep.
it's an investment. Okay.
And
Look,
especially at such a young age, because most people, and I don't know if other agents know this or not, but most people typically live in their house 3 to 5 years. As a young buyer, you're going to live in it 3 to 5, maybe 7, but you're eventually at that young age, you're going to outgrow it because your family's going to change, your family's going to grow. So you're going to outgrow it. So you're going to need to upsize. Once, and then on the flip side of that, as you get older, then you're going to need to downsize because your kids are now grown and they've moved off. So you might want to downsize. So yes, it is an investment that pays for itself in the long
yes,
run.
absolutely. So tomorrow, join us, because tomorrow we're going to be doing our virtual first time home buyer hyper local event this
Mhm.
Saturday from 12 to 2 Eastern time. So that's 11 to 1 in Alabama time, Central
Yep.
Standard Time. With We're going to be in Baldwin County,
Mhm.
Alabama, with Miranda, and it sounds like Cindy's going to be joining us
Yes.
from Advantage Real Estate.
Yes.
Fantastic. Folks, the Baldwin market is already shifting. If you're
Yes.
not in if I'm here to tell you, I've been there, I lived there. If you're not already looking there to invest, if you're
Mhm.
looking for a second home, I don't care what it is, you need to be looking at this area, okay? Because it's shifting, and the right prep today could save you thousands of dollars in the future. All right. So
Absolutely.
join us live tomorrow, and you'll walk away with a real strategy. All right. Because we're going to be talking and taking live messages and questions. And I mean, we're live. So as questions come up, we'll be addressing them. We'll be discussing the steps from A to Z in the process of buying a home versus, buying a vehicle type of thing. And I'm looking forward to it. I love that area. I love the beach. Um, and it's springtime.
Absolutely, it is. Although
And
it
you
feels
guys
like summer here today. It's like 90 degrees here today with a little
and
bit of overcast, but
that's funny. And it's festival time,
yes,
right?
lots of
So
things going on around here.
yeah, if you guys are anything about festivals, I mean, this is ideal. All
Hmm.
right. So I want to send out some thank yous for some referrals. Um, Katie Hugh, Bernadette Bay, Sierra Matthews, they actually had a deal that I just mentioned earlier. Customer was qualified on an FHA. She was buying a conventional property, a condo that isn't FHA approved. Um, Thanks to Bernadette, thanks to Sierra, working together. Great job, ladies, of making that thing work. I was able to get it work by like $10,000 less, is where the deal worked at. I put
Hmm.
the numbers together. They talked to the Bernadette, negotiated everything with the seller. He backed out, said, nope, I got that denial. And then a few hours later, I said, hang tight from Bernadette. Buyers starting to think about some of the things because it's costing him monthly, every month. And if you don't have a buyer online, well, that's 30 days,
Hmm.
right? 30 days
Yep.
that you're now waiting on. So there's another payment. And then
Right.
if you don't have anyone, here comes another payment. I mean, and we know that not all properties sell quick.
Right.
So I think that settled in a little bit. And
Hmm.
so the buyer agreed. And now, mind you, I just got this file, right? It's extension at the end of this month. Look at the
Hmm.
date. It's the 16th. That file will go into processing today. She just got paid today, so her funds are close. I can show her in her account,
Mhm.
and we're going to make magic happen and close this first time home buyer in the next few days.
Mhm.
And I'll give you an update on that Friday, 5:30, if we made it or not, because that thing's going in today. She's super stoked. In fact, she's, you know, extremely humble, grateful, and I think she's still in the wow moment, right? So
Yep.
thank you to you ladies. Carla Underwood, thank you. I appreciate you. Jocelyn Jackson, and you, Miranda. Thank you again. We've got another
Ab-
one teed up. One of Miranda's friends from the past.
uh-huh.
We're bringing her back to Alabama from Florida, and
Yep.
that um, I guess chase for the home is on. The search is getting pretty aggressive, I think now.
Yes, it is.
Exciting stuff. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm Bill Hager with Rocket Mortgage Local. Some of your clients, I'm here to get them pre-approved and get them under contract. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.